Live from the Bob Levy Broadcast Center, overlooking the Toms River, it's time to get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Woo! Welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Look, I even changed the clock in the break. Woo! 7:08, Friday, September 23rd. It is 64 degrees, getting up to 86 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the radio pop app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are now joined in studio by Travis Applegate. Travis, how are you?
I'm doing good.
You are an artist.
Yes.
We were blown away by some of your work. Why don't you tell us a little about your art? How you got started. Give me the elevator story.
All right.
Of how this happened for you.
All right. Well, I got started painting when I was about 18 after I'd moved into my first apartment. But my whole creative life started as a child. I started drawing when I was a kid. I wanted to be a fashion designer, so I filled up notebooks full of clothing designs and stuff by like 3rd and 4th grade. Drawing stuff for to trade kids for lunch money. I even went around the neighborhood selling my art door to door. And then I'd left home at 14, so all my drawing had really stopped then. I started writing a lot of poetry and stuff. I go to the computers at the library and, write poetry. And then I did that for years until I'd lost all my poetry and kind of stopped being creative altogether for a while. Then when I got back into being creative again, I started painting. And once I started painting, that's what stuck with me. I found that that's really what I wanted to do, and I've been working in that direction ever since. That was about 13 years ago.
So there's a lot of I don't want to say holes in that story, but there's a lot of open space in that story.
Yeah.
Do you want to fill in some of those gaps? I mean, like for example, leaving home at 14, that's a pretty bold move. What was the impetus there?
Yeah. Well, I guess when I left, I really wasn't sure until the past I'd say about 3 years ago was when I really found what it is that I was looking for. I left searching for something. I didn't know what it was, and I just stayed in that direction of seeking until about 3 years ago I found that I was looking for my higher self. And, things have really taken a change since then.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so... And I guess so you've always been creative. That's always kind of been your thing,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But what did you do? How do you, I guess the hard thing is, as an artist, how do you make money?
Yeah, that is the hard thing. I've been, trying to. I've been doing a lot of shows. When I was in my early 20s, I'd go out to Soho in New York City, and I sold on Spring and Green Street for several years, going out there every weekend with my art. And I actually did well out there. To this date, I've sold over 300 paintings.
Really?
Yep. And most of them were out of Soho to places around the world I can't even pronounce the name of. But, yeah, other than that, just trying to stay on it, doing shows. I just launched a new gallery website yesterday, so hopefully that does well.
Oh, okay. Very cool. So how would you characterize your art? Like if you had to explain it to someone, let's say hypothetically you were on the radio. Let's just pretend for a second. How would you explain your art?
That's a question I always get, and I just narrowed this down recently, writing my bio and artist statement and CV, getting all my information together. But I guess it could be categorized as urban expressionism or figurative expressionism maybe, but it's a lot of spontaneous. I might start on one side of the canvas and scribble some image really quick, and then paint some abstract area and move back and forth spontaneously, just letting my subconscious flow, letting ideas come out. And when it's done, I know it's done. But there's a lot of words in there, a lot of scratching, smearing, some collage work maybe. So it's kind of like a collage of subconscious ideas that just flow out of me in like a meditative state while I'm painting.
Really? In a meditative state?
Yeah. I get in the zone. I've been in that zone painting for up to 72 hours at times.
Really?
So, Yeah, when I lived by myself, especially, I'd have people come knock on my door. I'd be like 2 or 3 days into painting, looking crazy.
Wow. You know what it reminds me of? Nobody's going to get this reference, but did you ever see that show Heroes that used to be on with like the superhero folks?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Zach?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Do you remember in Heroes when the guy would he would paint
The future.
the future crime scene?
Yes.
Right? He
Oh,
would
wow,
paint,
that sounds familiar.
yeah,
actually.
he would like paint a future crime scene, and he would kind of go into a trance state.
Yeah.
And do it, and he would wake up and he'd be like, "Oh my God, look
Yeah,
what I
I think
just
his
did!"
eyes would turn white
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
That's when the best art is created, when you're like really in the moment and you're not, thinking about the past or the future or worrying about anything, having any kind of anxiety, when you're really just in the moment.
That is so cool. So that's how you do it. Like you just kind of get in the zone and off you go.
Yeah.
And are you inspired by things around you? Are you inspired by events? Are you inspired by? I mean, what is it?
Everything inspires me, really. Everything. Things that I'm feeling, things that I've seen, politics, like social situations, everything really. The weather. I was driving home the other day and it just felt so good. I had the windows down. I was listening to some music and I called my wife and I was just like so excited about how awesome the weather was. I was like, I really just want to get home and paint right now. So yeah, like anything inspires me. If you look into my paintings, you'll see just little bits of pieces of culture, references to advertisements or maybe music, maybe TV shows, just little bits of everything in there.
Really?
Kind of documents our current culture.
So you're you're an interesting guy because aside from the art, right, which is certainly when you go to an art show locally and you're going through and you're looking, there's a lot of pretty paintings and there's a lot of this, and then you get to your stuff and it really kind of stops you in your tracks because it's. Look, we don't have a lot of urban stuff going on here. Let's be fair. This is Ocean County, New Jersey. It's like, nobody's like, yeah, I grew up in the hood of Tom's River. You know what I mean? It's not really like that so much. But then when you start talking, it's not exactly what I think people would expect to hear, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you get that a lot or no?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Especially after the last 3 years, after this conscious shift that I've had, I've really found myself and I've become a different person than I once was before. If you were talking to me 10 years ago, you wouldn't be talking to the same person that you're talking to right now.
Well, why? In what way?
I was still on my path. I was still searching. I hadn't found myself yet. So, I was a different person. I was a product of my environment, the things that I was around growing up, and, I didn't have really parents that raised me, so I was just raised by the people I was around, situations I was in, things that I saw, until I really found myself and started directing myself, where I want to go.
So there's a lot of ink going on, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that all from past Travis, or is that current, or is it a mixture of both?
Mixture of both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some of it's new. So where's the new stuff?
I got this new one on my hand.
And what is that?
It's a mandala flower.
What is and what does that represent?
A mandala is a map of the universe, really, the above and below.
Really.
So and I got the single eye in the middle, so it's kind of like connection with my higher self, my spiritual self.
Wow, that's cool. Okay, but then so we got that, but then we got stuff going on the knuckles too, right?
Yeah. Well, I got this punk rock on my knuckles when I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
With a homemade machine at a house show in the backyard while there was punk bands playing in the house.
Oh my God.
So the ideal situation to get a punk rock tattoo.
Right. So that, listen, it makes for a good story either way, right?
Yeah. In the moment, I didn't think of it like that, but looking back, I'm like, wow, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, and I think what I'm hearing from you is kind of all of these experiences have really kind of defined who you are today and have kind of made up who you are today, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. All right. So when we come back, I want to hear about some of the shows that you have upcoming, some of the places that we could see you. And we'll talk more, about kind of just you, because you're an interesting cat, right? And we'll talk about where we kind of discovered you for ourselves recently, because you keep popping up every time we do something as a foundation.
Yep.
Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, Travis Applegate. Be back after this.
Rush Limbaugh today at noon. More Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin coming up next. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. We are talking to Travis Applegate, interesting artist locally. So my friend Mandy, she's a big fan of tattoos, right? And we always talk about tattoos like on the face, right? Because that's like I think Mike Tyson really took that to a whole different level, right? Where he kind of, but so you have like an anchor under your left eye. So talk to me about that.
Well, I found that a lot of the spiritual texts talk about the east, the right side, the right hand of God. Jesus says to cast your net to the right if you want to catch fish. The Garden of Eden was placed east of Eden, and I found that all of these are speaking of the right side of the brain. And the right side of the brain controls the left side of the body, so I got the anchor under my left eye as a symbol of being anchored in that right brain vision.
Right. So what you're saying is you're the only one who's really in your right mind. Is that where you're going with that? No?
These days, maybe that's the truth.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? I mean, I always, that's what I always say about people that, that people perceive as being a little bit off. I'm like, maybe they're right, and maybe the rest of us are just on the wrong level. So as an artist, like, how often are you doing shows? Like, is it like every weekend you're hunting down where to go, where to be, how to get yourself out there?
Yeah, lately that's how it's been.
Yeah.
Honestly, up until about 6 months ago, I took off about 2.5 years. I stopped writing music. I stopped painting. I stopped doing shows. I stopped doing everything for a while. Well, like I was talking about this spiritual quest that I've been on, there came a point where I had like an epiphany where it was just like a greater understanding was just like uploaded to my brain, and it was just like so overwhelming that I stopped doing everything in my life that was good or bad, and I spent a little over 2 years just introspecting, meditating, doing yoga, reading, researching, and I've learned a lot, and since then a lot of things have changed, and the past 6 months I've actually got back into painting and doing shows again, So,
and do you feel like you're in a better place than you were 3 years ago? Yeah,
absolutely. Yes.
Like you feel so you did the equivalent of like backpacking across Europe, except you did it just in your own mind. You were like you were doing it for yourself.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Yes. All right, so you're off at shows. So do you do a show like every weekend day?
Yeah, well, this so far this summer it's been once or twice a month.
Okay.
Yeah, and I want to keep it that way.
Yeah.
And before this awakening that happens, I was doing shows once a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you sell a lot of art at those shows?
I do. I always sell at least a piece or maybe make a connection. Something good comes out of every show that I do.
Yeah.
I never walk away feeling like, oh man, that wasn't
Yeah, but
good.
okay, wait a second now though. But you're like in that place now, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say after 2.5 years of introspection and yoga and meditation, I'm gonna guess that it's a little bit easier for you to find the silver lining on things, no matter what happens, right?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the way it's always been though. Like when I was selling work in the city, even after I'd moved back down to Central Jersey here in Beechwood, I would still put all my art on a hand truck and walk down to the bus station, take it up to the city, lug it all out to Soho, and I would still at least sell one painting every time. I would go there with no money, so that way I had to sell something if I wanted to get home.
Right.
There was 2 times that I didn't, and I slept under the Brooklyn Bridge, came out the next day, and sold some artwork.
Did you go to Peter Luger's while you were there?
No.
No. All right. Yeah, I guess if not having any money and sleeping under the bridge, you're probably not hitting Luger's up,
yeah.
Huh? Yeah. All right. Good call. All right. Listen, we're up against the break and the hometown view. When we come back, we're going to talk more. We're going to give you your magic wand, or for you, maybe it'll be a magic paintbrush.
Right.
See what you do with it. Tell people where they can find your art, find more about you, yada, yada, yada. Maybe we'll pick another tattoo to talk about. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin and Travis Applegate. Stay tuned for the hometown view. Back after this.
The news is next. Live from the WOBM Newsroom, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from Town Square Towers at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin, 7:35, Friday, September 23rd, 64 degrees, getting up to 86 today. WOBM AM 1160, 1310, News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the radio, pop app at WOBMAM.com, 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are joined in studio by Travis Applegate. We are talking art. We are talking about, hey, so you got a documentary that's being worked on for you. Look at you, baller. What's that all about?
Yeah, I got a mini doc that producer Sandy Levine reached out to me at the Art in the Park Festival. I met her there recently, actually, just that was last month or so, and she said that she was interested in my art, and we got to talking, and she was interested in my story, and wanted to film a little documentary.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
we've been working on that.
You won some loot from that too, right? Art in the Park. You were a prize winner there.
Yeah, that was actually a good day. I won second place, and I sold 7 paintings, and I met Sandy, who is going to be filming this docu. So it was win-win all the way around.
That's a win-win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty strong.
Yeah.
All right, so you got the documentary. You're selling art. You just launched a new website.
Yes, autonomousartgallery.com, and that's where you can find all my shows, all the other social networking platforms that I promote myself on, and so I have a blog on there too, where I'm going to be, updating with pictures and videos of me working in the studio and stuff, so you can get to see a little behind the scenes action, and yeah.
That's cool. So you could sell somebody, somebody could buy their painting and they could see you creating their painting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's a novel concept. Cool. So autonomousartgallery.com.
Yes.
Cool. And what kind of upcoming shows do you have upcoming?
Right now I actually have a collection hanging at Mean Bean. There's maybe a dozen or so paintings down there, and they'll be hanging until the middle of October. I'm also doing the art stroll the beginning of next month right here downtown Toms River, and the Harvest Arts Festival also the middle of October. And I have some other things coming up that are not yet inked in, but I have shows planned up until March.
You can't you don't want to commit to them though.
Well, some of them I'm not. They're still up in the air. Some things I'm putting together myself, and some that I may be in, I may not, depending on different situations. It's still a few months from now, so we'll see where that goes. But everything will be updated on my website, so
cool.
Check out everything there.
Very cool. All right. So it's that time, Travis.
All right.
I'm sorry. I know that this is what, everybody gets a little nervous because, you know what they say, with great power comes great responsibility.
Oh, boy.
And here it is, the great power. We're giving you the magic wand, the pixie dust, the fairy dust, the ability just to wiggle your nose and make an impact on the world in a completely different way. Travis, artist extraordinaire.
That's a great power.
What are you going to do, man? What are you doing with such power?
Well, honestly,
no, I want you to lie to me.
I would just hope that, or wish that everybody could also reach their higher self and realize that we are all one united people. We're one universal consciousness having individual human experiences. And if we can realize that, then it would really put an end to all the hatred, all the war, and everything that's going on right now, because everybody is so stuck in the ego, the self, and they're so separated, which gives way to all these differences. But if we could realize that we were all just one universal consciousness having individual human experiences, then we wouldn't hate each other or go to war with each other. It'd be like, cutting off your nose to spite your face, literally. So if we could realize that we're all one body, I think that would put an end to all that.
Damn, you are such a deep thinker, man. I'm I'm like, if they gave me the magic wand, I'm like, I want everybody to have an unlimited supply of Cheetos. You know what I mean? But you're doing so much more than that. Yeah. Now, I'm not asking for your actual answer on this. I don't want the specific answer. But a guy like you look at the presidential race right now, right? Like, are you just going to conscientiously object to voting? Like, is there anybody that you could see your way clear voting for? I don't need to know the name, but do you have someone who you think is actually will actually work out for us?
Absolutely not. They're both part of the same idea. It's a democratic republic, so either way, you're voting for the same system. If anybody is going to vote, they should put in the ballot box neither, or put in what their answer should be. But definitely, I wouldn't vote for either of these candidates.
So can we write your name in?
There you go.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah,
you do it. Come on. I mean, but you understand.
I'll have to get some people together.
Yeah, you have to. I would be interested to see your cabinet choices. I'm just saying. I think it'd be. I think Zach is angling his way in over here. I think he's like,
I hope so.
That's right. All right, Travis Applegate. Travis, you are. I'll tell you what. You're an interesting dude, and your art is fantastic. We've been very fortunate at the foundation to have you participate in a couple of our challenges recently, and really impressive stuff you put together, and just another example of the amazing folks that are really kind of walking among us every day that we want to continue to incent to build on their creativity. So thanks for all you're doing, man, to make this a cooler universe. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that.
That was as deep as I'm going to get, by the way.
There you go.
Travis Applegate, thanks again. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, back with more, including Dana Lancelotti after this.